Access granted.
Hello and welcome to the Full Force Redacted, brought to you by Generals Joe's REBORN.com with me, Christopher McLeod, aka Diagnostic AT. On the show today, we have two members of the awesome G.I. Joe brand team joining me for yet another interview. Design lead and frontman for an alternative folk rock rap thrashcore fusion band, Lenny Panzika, that was easy for me to say, and the meticulous master model maker and mullet enthusiast, business in the front, party in the back, Tony Colella, to talk about all of the awesome reveals we've had over the past month and much, much more. Guys, thank you so much for spending your precious time with me. How are you both doing?
Great. We had to hold Tony down to shave that mullet off of him. He didn't want to let go of it.
I didn't want to let go.
He did not want to take that off, did he?
They took my party. They
I'm
took
gonna
all my party. Now it's all business.
It's just all business, front and back. I will say that was an amazing surprise, by the way, to have you guys all dressed up for the fan stream. That was so good.
Yeah. We
It's Emily's idea, that wasn't it?
We had some collaborators on that one, and me and Lenny definitely steered our costumes in a certain 80s headbanger direction, where maybe we were there. It was kind of going back and forth between Twisted Sister and maybe Megadeth, and we went a little more Megadeth. I think.
Mega Sister or Twisted Death. I'm going to say the Mega Sister or Twisted Death, which Twisted Death does actually sound like a legitimate band.
That's a good one.
That sounds like a legitimate band. Mega Sister though, that's
Mega
brilliant.
Sister.
That's
sorry
brilliant.
guys, I have a little doggy in here, and he's going.
That's totally fine. That the dog can be involved. We can get him some questions in.
Lenny and Pet.
He'll answer. Lenny and Pet. Yeah. That's the new item.
Lenny costs $44.99 currently, whereas Tony and I are $24.99 up here.
I lost the mullet, so
yeah, exactly. You can get the extra alternative head.
He gets swappable hair with a mullet.
Oh, that's cool.
That would be pretty sweet, actually. Anyway, let's talk about what we're here to talk about, not this ridiculous banter, which I'm sure people do enjoy. But let's start with New York Toy Fair and the most recent fan stream, because obviously they kind of merged together a little bit. You guys revealed a medieval crap ton of awesome goodies during those particular events. And firstly, Lenny, thank you for letting me interview you on camera multiple times at New York Toy Fair. That was a lot of fun. That was great. I hope you had a good time with that.
Yeah, great time.
Did you? How were you? Were you happy with the reaction from the fans from all of the stuff?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, we showed a eclectic array of things, from retro to polar bears to re-envisioned versions of this beautiful little thing. Stickers on them.
We're going to be talking about that.
Yeah. So it was really cool to see. From my perspective, it came pretty well received, and it was awesome to see that we have some newness in the line, we have some nods in the line, we have some nostalgia in the line. So it was a good toy fair, and overall, it was grejust be back in the Javits. So,
totally. That place is amazing.
Oh, it's so cool.
It's not the first time I've been there, but I have. I just always blown away by the size of the place. It's just and so much glass. Like it's just
it is so much glass. I mean,
glass.
And it's totally more of a business or like a toy industry.
It's a trade fair for sure, isn't it? Trade show.
Sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, it's great to you meet up with people you've worked with in the past, and you see some stuff the other companies that are doing that's really inspiring. It's very cool.
Yeah, I got a chance to speak to John Warden as well. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, awesome!
And he sent. Well, he probably saw you while you were there at some point.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, that was great to see the mask stuff as well. That was really, really cool.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So related to that, are we getting masking classified? Yeah, you can tell us, right?
No.
Okay, I'll move on. So we did cover loads of stuff in brief detail, I would say, during those recorded chats. But I do think we can get into more of that information right now, starting with Cold Slither. We talked about the dress up. That was amazing. But how long have you wanted to get these versions of the Nox in the line, and how did you approach this as a design conundrum for the grittier classified series?
We've been talking about it since off the jump. We want to do a lot of the wacky stuff from the beginning. Was there an element of not stepping on Super 7's toes a little bit with their ultimates? Was there an element of that with the? Not really. I think it was. We're a different scale.
Yeah,
sort of thing. Oh no, so yeah, we were a different scale. So I don't think we really would be stepping on their toes too much. I mean, 6 to 7, I think for me is a big jump.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing something completely different. I think with our accessories, our layering of secondaries and stuff classified as more gritty. It's more noodly, if you would. So I don't think so. I just think we had to build up to getting to what I would say tertiary characters. Tertiary is a terrible word, but like it's like the supporting actors, right? Like
yeah.
Like that was a moment in time in Real American Hero. So you don't really do it off the jump, but you do it when the timing is right, when it feels like you have enough in the line where it's like, okay, now let's be a little wacky, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
And that's when it's kind of just time to get there. We're almost 5 years in.
Oh,
almost
5-year anniversary. You are 2020. You kicked off.
Yeah,
well, yeah. We showed in 2020, came out 2021. So yeah, just about 4.5, almost 5 years. Yeah.
If that was the first version of Zartan that we gave you as a G.I. Joe,
could you imagine? Could you imagine?
I feel like the line wouldn't last as long as it has. So
that's too funny. Speaking of that, actually, Tony, I felt really bad for you on the stream because I know it was a bit, but that bit at the end when you were like, "Hey, Emily, can we do another thing?" and she's like, "No, get out."
Yeah.
And you looked so dejected, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they've left that in." And then at the end, there's that little bit extra, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it was a bit. Thank goodness."
She's very harsh person.
Yeah, that was a nice little element to throw out to fans at the end for sure.
Yeah, it was just something. So that particular fan stream was a little silly, obviously. So
really,
it kind of fit the mood, I thought, of Emily being the.
And I should say the fans have Tony to thank for that, because we were kind of rapping and he was just like, "Come on, we gotta show it. We gotta show it." So.
If you've got a Zartan, does that mean some of the other figures are kind of in that sort of similar vibe development wise, or is it because again we're pretty far out from SDCC? Was there an element of sort of getting ahead of some stuff there? Like
there's a cadence. Oh, sorry, Lenny. There's a cadence to the rollout. Obviously, we want to. You don't want to have too many droughts of information for people, and marketing's really doing a really awesome job with this set in particular. I think Emily BMAC and our partners in franchise have really partnered with this on this set, and I think you guys are going to really be surprised with how much thought has gone into this.
Totally, yeah. I mean, the packaging looks phenomenal. Yeah. There's a comic coming from Skybound, which, by the way, I have fallen in love with Skybound. They're the best.
Skybound is
best comics ever. Like, just incredible. And Raining Phoenix music as well. Like, that's crazy. That an album's coming out and all that jazz. Where's the connection?
We're like in awe of what's going on with that, because we're gonna do Cold Slither, and and then BMAC just like created this amazing program around it, working with RPM, and it's just seeing it all come to life is like kind of like it's surreal in a way. It's like we're making an album.
That's nuts. That is absolutely insane.
And marketing has more to share as we get closer to the release of the product. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of really cool news from them on that.
Brilliant.
You'll see some more of that. To the original question, we'll see some more physical and things like that. So just stay tuned for more stuff as usual.
Will do. Thanks for keeping me on track there, Tony. I do like to veer all over the place. Then you always bring it back. I love you for that. So we haven't seen any copy or renders of whether Zartan will come with a microphone. Would you better confirm if the set does actually include one?
No microphone. We went all instruments. So there's some scenes when he's not jamming on a mic. So we just went all instruments and drum set. So we'll drum set as an instrument. Okay. But I will say this: if there's ever an opportunity, I'm going to ask a question here. If there's ever an opportunity to do a modern band for the Dreadnoks, we definitely can get a microphone in there. And would people want to see a modernized band, like a brand new band, newer type of metal? I'm very interested to see if fans would want that. I think it could be pretty sick.
All right, there's a question for everyone in the comments, please. The packaging on this thing is absolutely nuts. You squeezed in loads of like a cheeky figure glimpse at Monkey Wrench. Lots of homages in the packaging. I mean, was that all you guys, or was that a graphics department just going absolutely crazy and losing their minds?
Graphics and Mark, I would say, because Tony and I, we're in the trenches of working on the figs. You know what I mean? Like we're inundated, and they'll ask us questions about what we're doing from a design standpoint, but like that was Mark and the graphics team. So Mark is our copywriter, graphics team, all working together to like just figure out like it's a rooftop on top of the venue. So they're figuring out what the rooftop looks like on it. Like it was really cool. There's set lists on the floor of the stage. It's
the upcoming
awesome.
Gem concert, Monkey Wrench on the back. I mean, just as like the kind of backdoor security kind of situation. It's just
Yobbo eating out of the trash as well.
Yeah, this dirty little monkey eating out of the trash can.
Right. We can't stress enough that there's so many people on the team that you don't see on camera or at the shows and events that have the same passion and knowledge of the brand, which is I wouldn't say unique, but it's special, I guess, for what we're doing. And having people with that talent level and the brand knowledge that's kind of why you're seeing these successes, I think, on the brand.
Oh, for sure. Like it's unbelievable. I mean, like I was just thinking about all the posters that are on there, like Gem, the Average Joe Band, like the set list that's got all of like not set list, the tour dates and the tour list where you've got like a poster that has, San Diego obviously on there. But then you have like Cobra Island and like Broca Beach and stuff like that. It's so good. Like I just love all those little attentions to detail. It makes things so much more enjoyable, and the packaging as well. Like this is the problem with classified I have, guys. I can't throw anything away. This is the thing that you've made such an issue with storage. Like I can't throw any packaging away. It's terrible.
It's for me it's a perfect Comic-Con item too. I know when we listen to feedback, it's we'd like to have characters.
Feedback, was that a pun?
Oh yeah, not a pun, but a happy accident, I guess. But listening to people's opinions on what is a Comic-Con exclusive, like the amount of kind of wit you can bring to it, is it a character that has to be a mainline that you can only get San Diego? There's all these things that you really have to juggle to make the right decision, right, according to some people. But I think this is like the perfect blend of all of that. It's it's a nice side set with the perfect packaging, a playful product offering, and then again the marketing message is going to be incredible and has been incredible. So it just works on so many levels.
Love it. Honestly, it looks so good. And also looking at the renders and the sneaky peek at Zartan that you gave us on the fan stream, it looks like you've really gone to town on the instrument detailing here. Like, did that require a lot of reference? And like, how did you approach that from a design standpoint? Because you can go pretty deep with some instrument elements, really, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, like, and there's like tiny little bips and boops and details that you kind of twist where you pull from reference of other instruments. And so of course my brother plays guitar. I was in a hardcore band for like
you were in a alternative folk rock rap thrashcore fusion band. That's the one.
Right. Yes. Where I was the main MC. Yes.
Could you imagine if I got that right? I'd be like just randomly.
Oh my god! How did you know?
How did you know?
We were groundbreaking at the time.
I played the xylophone in 5th grade that one time. So.
Perfect. You fit right in. Right in.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was fun though to get into like the instruments and like kind of like making them our own a little bit. Right. There's definitely nods to particular instruments, but like kind of picking out what would look cool, what would feel the vibe. We didn't go with the original instruments because, quite frankly, from my opinion, I thought they weren't pushed enough in the cartoon.
Right. Very kind of basic.
Yeah, they're all the same color.
Design. Yeah.
They were kind of not shaped very well, like a guitar or like a bass. Or a keyboard for that rather. So we changed it to a keytar, which is a little more better for posing essentially.
Can I ask a question here? Because it's something I haven't really seen and I wasn't sure if you even would have dawned on you guys, but was there ever any thought, especially with Torch, to put a blast effects port on the keytar?
Yes, there was.
Okay. But is there one?
No, there's not. It was too complicated from a mold standpoint to get it. Because the way they're drafted, so it was kind of a pain to do it. We weren't able to do it essentially. But we talked about have the flames come out of it.
You're probably going to see a few customs there, aren't you? With him on that Mad Max style kind of.
I almost wish we would have done a C clip flame that like connected to the neck, and then like, but again, it just was out of scope.
I mean, it adds. I get what you're saying. It adds a lot of complexity to an already very in-depth, and I suppose there's an element here of picking and choosing on what is going to be utilized before because I think obviously things are going to be costed out and what have you.
The whole product development process essentially there. It's a big set too. It's 4 figures and a full drum kit. Like there's kick pedals on that.
Oh my god. I can't wait for this thing. And a little stool as well for Buzzer, right? So he's got
stool. I tried to make it adjustable, but it's not adjustable. So.
Oh my god, man. I mean, that's a bit too much there, Lenny, but yeah. I'd be down for that.
I was trying to tell him, I'm like, but it's functional for the build.
Get out. That's really cool.
And PM should be in a stained glass window.
Were you going to have...
There should be stained glass windows of those gentlemen because of what they have to deal with from the creative side. Well, they're creative too, but you know what I mean? From the more designery side of development.
100%. I was like almost to the point where I could imagine you going to town on like all the little dials on, the effects buttons and bits and pieces.
I had to look up
like make them move.
Yeah, I had to look up guitars. Like I don't know.
Oh, come on. You've played a few guitars in your time, surely. Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, sick. There you go.
There you go. You've got the head really bobbing and everything.
It's a hardcore version of a guitar or like a
Is that your bass guitar? Like amazing. Anyway, it's amazing you've incorporated the album, the comic with the exclusive and everything. How involved have you been with those aspects? Have you really had any kind of connection with the kind of comic creation? Are you having chats with Skybound in that sense?
It's mostly BMAC and our franchise team handles a lot of that. They'll chime us in and they'll show us where they're at. They'll ask for like suggestions and stuff like that, but it's really BMAC and franchise marketing that is like really leading the charge on that. They're doing a phenomenal job. Some of the stuff we've been seeing is just like they get it.
Yeah,
they know the vibe. I think they've made tweaks, especially with the Cold Slither song, where like they could have came out with a straight up 80s metal version of it.
Yeah.
But they tweaked it so it's a little more modern. So I think it's open for bigger fan base, which I thought was really cool about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, it's legit. Like,
well, there's no point doing the same thing again because that exists
it already
as well,
exists.
Isn't it?
You already have
so you can find that can be on an album because you guys have that. But like exactly, totally understand what you're saying there. I'm excited to hear some of the other music. Have you had a sneak peek at or some of the other tracks on the album? Are they are they kind of in a similar homage to G.I. Joe sort of vein?
I had heard some of it while at the gym and I kept it on.
Oh, nice.
Like, this is awesome music. Like this is cool. Like yeah. I was getting pumped.
Just doing yoga, weren't you? That's
actually that's what I was...
hot yoga.
Yeah,
obviously.
Downward dog or something. Amazing. Well, that's great. That's Cold Slither. Brilliant, awesome stuff. You're even wearing a T-shirt, Lenny, that suggests Cold Slither. There you go.
A good buddy got this for me at a
Oh, there you go. He's got his shade. He dressed up. Brilliant.
Oh,
brilliant.
My goodness.
Look at that.
Can't drive with those on though, unfortunately. That'd be nice. Parent pickup's going to be great today, though.
Amazing. Just embarrass them completely. All right, so Lenny, you covered a lot of figure details on the 2 New York Toy Fair interviews. You were a bit absent there, Tony. I don't know what was going on there. So I wanted to delve into some
xylophone training. Actually.
Yeah, you were deep in a xylophone. Yep, whatever, mate.
About it.
That's classified. So I wanted to delve into some of the other new stuff that we saw at the other events, starting with the Claw. I actually can't believe I completely forgot to talk about this during the show because you overwhelmed us with so much stuff. It feels like it's been a long time coming, but it looks incredible in person. Are we likely to see this one going up soon? I mean, when can we see Claw?
Yeah, man, the Claw's pretty wild. It's pretty big too. The Claw. And we actually added a claw graphic to one of the dorsal wings.
Nice.
So like I wanted to give it like a claw kind of effect.
Amazing.
But yeah, soon. Marketing's got some plans to share with everybody soon. So we can't say it here, but I think shortly we'll have an update.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's some announcements coming in spring.
That's
they've got their rollout that we sometimes see and question. But they've got but they're really good at that stuff. And if it was up to me and Lenny,
sir, sorry, it's us going like.
Oh yeah,
actually,
now.
Well, let's talk about the claw in its kind of design as well, because I mean it's so much more imposing, I think, than the original, which is a theme you've got with another reveal, which we'll talk about later as well. But what made you go kind of like extreme with it? Because I felt like at some point the claw, I think a lot of people expected the claw at sort of like almost like a trouble bubble-esque sort of size.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean as in like the width of a trouble bubble, but like in the kind of scale of a trouble bubble. This thing is huge and awesome. Was it just because you wanted it to be cooler?
Well, it's about, if I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, it's over 12 inches wide. And if you look at
amazing.
Unreal.
But it's very thin though, and we gave a stand with it so you can stand characters with it. On shorter characters, you can use the back tail wings to stand the character up.
Yep.
It also has drop down. I'm using my handy tape measure here.
That's that wide.
Yeah. It also has flip down wings on the tips of the wings. They'll go up and they'll go down detail. And the whole idea was, I was looking at the cartoon intro, and it's actually pretty big.
Yeah.
But it's kind of chunky, so I wanted it to feel sharper, like a blade. Okay. And if you look at modern, those kind of like wings, like the gliding wings that you see like in the cool YouTube videos and all that.
Yeah.
They are longer. They're wider because they have to hold the weight of a human, I guess.
Right,
so I imagine there's some sort of physics around that. So it's trying to replicate that to a degree. At the same time, maintain the old school feel.
Yeah.
So the old school feel I felt we're pretty close. But it's just was too chunky, I think, for classified. So we're trying to marry the two and make it more modern, but making it feel more sleek. Awesome. It's got some cool features on it too, like the handlebars. They're adjustable.
Cool.
So depending on the height of the figure, that way you can fit multiple figures in, and it has belts. So there's zip tie belts. So it's not
you're not going to be dragged along the floor when you land, for example. Yeah.
It's funny. We talked about that. Remember, Tony was like, "So when you land,
don't tuck your head. Keep your head up.
It's like
head up,
pull up,
head up, chest out."
That's that Cobra not really caring about their operatives. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Totally. It's got a lot of cool features on it. I don't want to give away too much yet, but I'm pretty excited about it. It came out pretty good. We're pretty close to finish on it. So.
It looks phenomenal. The one that was on show at New York Toy Fair was just absolutely gorgeous. I'm really into that. Also, another female Cobra Troop has joined the team. Mm-hmm. So what was you thinking there for the pilot? Was it sort of like in a similar kind of way with the Ferret and the Ferret Scout sort of vibe? Was that kind of where your mind was there?
I also thought it'd be a nice way to get a female trooper in there.
Yeah.
With the glider, I think she fits with it perfectly. And we also had the gas mask mold.
Yes.
And we had the gas, and we had the helmet, the pilot helmet. So it was perfect. She had the pieces that a Cobra pilot needed. So it was like, oh, she's perfect for it.
Yeah.
She is on a different build. So her figure build is a bit different from the Cobra Troopers.
Okay, interesting. Is it a mix of the trooper and the officer sort of thing?
Kind of. She's got some of the rifleman parts on her.
Oh,
the sniper. My bad. The sniper.
Yeah, sniper. Yeah.
Yep. So I wanted her to feel a little more sleek, like her harnesses and stuff. Like it fits a little more.
Yeah.
With what she's doing, and we went with more blacks than blue.
Okay.
So kind of give her a different vibe.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So she can fit within the ranks for sure.
Brilliant. I have to touch on Night Force Beachhead and Quick Kick 2-pack as well, because that was, I mean, talk about out of left field. I was not expecting that. The Quick Kick as an idea, because I've always talked to Pat about this, my co-host on the weekly and everything. Mm-hmm. Back in I want to say it was in the New Sculpt era, there was a planned Quick Kick that ended up becoming Nunchuck. Night Force nunchuck sort of situation. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, is that where the inspiration for Quick Kick being in the Night Force was, or was it just an element of hey, let's put Quick Kick in Night Force? Where does that come from?
I kind of wanted to do Quick Pick.
Quick Pick, different character.
I want him with. I think we need a Quick Pick with shoes on somewhere, and I think there was an opportunity to get kind of a new version of a G.I. Joe into classified with Night Force, and I think Night Force is a good vessel for that. And same thing with Tiger Force. That's been precedent since the mid 90s, early 2000s. They would add new characters to those two sub teams.
Yeah.
And I felt getting Quick Kick in there was a good fit for what we were going for. Also,
quick fit,
get
Quick
quick
fit.
fit, get
Quick
quick
fit.
fit, a new fit with some shoes on. But yeah, so I just wanted to make it. We were thinking about that for a second, but I was like, no, let's just do a new Quick Kick with some cool parts and pieces, and with that cool green colorway, green and black colorway.
Oh, he looks phenomenal. The mask as well, like he's just nicked it off a Cobra.
That's the idea. Yeah. He just took one of them out.
Yeah,
and he held on to it and painted it for their Night Force colorway. And
when you say took one of them out,
what's that?
When you say took one of them out, do you mean he went on a dinner date with them?
Yes.
And then took the mask?
Yes. And then he was like, "Here, you can have my mask. Thanks for the nice evening."
Not as in, not in the nasty way.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
There's also a plus 100 bonus points if you guys can guess the inspiration behind his camo on his on his face.
Good one, Tony.
On his face.
Yeah.
So on the alternate head. On
his actual head, I mean.
Yeah,
on his actual head.
Doing
it's inspired by something. Yeah. But I'll leave that at that.
If I get it, do you want me to cut it out so that our listeners and viewers can have a guess?
I'd like to hear what other people can guess for sure.
Yeah.
I'll cut it. I will cut this out. Yeah. I know what it is.
Perfect.
Do you know what it is, commenters?
No, it's funny too. Before we settled on that, I think I had done Tony. Remember, I was being obnoxious. I did 20 different patterns.
There it is. It's not obnoxious at all. I love seeing the idea. That's my favorite part of Joe when we can ideate together.
We just went nuts.
Bounce some ideas off. Lenny had about 30 sketches of what are we gonna do here, and it's just playing around.
And it's funny too, because the simplest one with the nice nod to it, won the day kind of deal. This one feels right. You know what I mean? So
simple and effective is usually the way to go, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Got to say the opposite for Beachhead, because ain't nothing simple about what's going on here.
No.
Love it though, because obviously that's taking from that original Night Force Beachhead. But the check pattern, the digital camo, it's just so awesome. I love him.
The check pattern was for production tough, because it's just getting those lines lined up. When it's camo and there's a little bit of offness, it still works. But when it has to be a graphic, even on a real shirt, when they're lining up the sleeves with the
God, it's impossible. Yeah.
So it was we got there.
I think it's brilliant. It's like that thing when you see someone painting it on and it's the patterns coming out with the paint, and you're like, I wish.
Model? Yes.
Yeah, I wish that was how easy it was.
Usually, I'll do it I'll do a baby version in ZBrush of what I want the deco to be, and then I make my spec sheet. I go, Tony, this is what I want it to be, and then he's like, I see what you're trying to do,
but do this instead.
This is what it's gonna be. But I remember that when I was like, I'm just gonna Photoshop those on. And then
and shout out to my model artist Shanae on that one. I was like, oh, this one's too difficult. Shanae, you do this.
Brilliant.
No, but she's super talented and
she's awesome.
Willing to help out with a lot of the Joe stuff. I wouldn't be able to keep up. And
I'm not surprised, considering you keep bringing things out every couple of weeks. It's unbelievable. Keep it coming, please.
It's it's an awesome pace for sure. Our item counts pretty hefty.
Growing.
I suppose that is a reflection of how well the brand is doing, right? How well the line is doing, and the more that's coming in, obviously that's you wouldn't be getting more if it wasn't doing as well, and it seems to be really successful.
Yeah,
and things are working out.
And with each success of different kind of not a stretch goal, but mid-sized vehicles. Different figure and pet. Okay, that did great. Let's get some more figure. Here's a mid-sized vehicle. Here's a small vehicle. Okay, that's doing good. Here's a mid-sized vehicle. Here's the snake armor. That's the size. You'll have to undo the door frame to get them.
It's funny too, because it's nice that the line is getting to a place where we can say, let's try a new price point. Let's try a new play pattern, right? Figure and pet's a new play pattern, right? And that was our first try.
Yeah.
And then it was let's try $34.99, which is deluxe figure.
Deluxe, yeah.
That way you can get your heavy duties in the line. Then it's like we got to make a snake armor. How are we going to do that? And it's like try to do it this way. And it's like, ooh, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So then we were like, maybe we amp it up, right? So it's like it's kind of cool to. It's more than kind of cool. It is awesome as a product designer to be on a line where you can do that. Where it's like, you know what, like let's try this out. Let's see if people want it. And then if it's successful, then the data shows it's like, no, try something else now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really fun.
I imagine there are lots of concepts or early concept designs that you went through with snake armor, for example. We'll talk about that a bit later on, but I know we talked about in the past about it's a bit different now and you guys have just got layers on Photoshop or whatever, but there must be in those kind of situations, are you drawing something as well? Like you're kind of sketching things out.
Oh, 100%. Yes. The snake armor started off as like chicken scratch drawings on my sketchbook, my iPad Sketchbook Pro. And I worked
is there ever a world where we see that sort of stuff eventually? Because I know you do put out some really cool stuff on your Instagram page with the kind of concepts and stuff. But is there any like likelihood of seeing further back development ever?
I don't know. I have to ask if that's okay.
Because I think people would love to see your sort of
There's a lot of like old school, like I mean, again, robots are really not my forte, and I would say vehicles too. But I try my hardest on them. But I think I worked with Marcelo on the input design for the
fantastic
snake armor and for the All Striker actually.
Oh, Hasbro Hall of Famer.
Yes,
Transformers Hall of Famer Marcelo.
Legend. Yeah. Love Marcelo. He's like a brother to me, and we did some awesome work. And then I think the input is a bit different though, because we found it's interesting with a vehicle like a Vamp or an All Striker, you can get pretty close to what your input is, but then when you start doing sculpture, you know, like you have to thicken the body base so the figures fit inside. You have to elongate things so that like certain parts and pieces fit. On the mech suit, on the snake armor, it was like we had a design, and then it was like, yeah, this is awesome, this will work. And then when you start going into the facets and the surface design, it's like, ooh, this is not working. So then you have to go in and redesign it. And then there's a lot of QA and QC things that we don't talk about that you have to consider, like finger entrapments and like pinch points. And like, because again, G.I. Joe is a 4+ line. Sorry, but it's a 4+ line.
Yeah.
So you have to make things for a particular use case.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So there are things you got to take into consideration. So it was I would say that was probably the hardest project I've had in the past 5 years.
I'm not surprised. We will circle back to that in a second. But
we're not confirming that you can put a 4-year-old in the snake armor. That's not what we're saying by that.
Well, I don't know. I bet you could. Quickly coming back to Quick Kick before we move on. Could you tell us why you changed the build on him? Is it just so you could get him in shoes?
It's funny that I have Little Man out here. Because
the build on Quick Kick, by the way.
Oh, on Quick Kick, we're still on Quick Kick?
Yeah.
Put it away.
Sorry, it's like a castanet. So Quick Kick. We're rewinding. Sorry. Quick Kick. I wanted him to feel more severe like Night Force, because Night Force is supposed to be severe. I wanted the idea to be darker, who they're battling. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like currently Crystal Ball is doing some crazy stuff. Right, so it's like I wanted the vibe to feel darker, essentially, and then I think he needed to be a little more tack in his gear. We've never really seen a full tacked out Quick Kick before, so I thought it'd be a nice little zig to the zag.
No, also, I think the opposite of kind of that aggressive tone. I think people are really going to enjoy when they flip down his.
His
reader.
We can tell people.
Sure, go ahead.
I completely forgot.
It's hilarious.
so on his HUD,
it's going to be Fudgy's based, isn't it? Right?
It's 100% Fudgy based. It says Fudgy Interactive, I think we called it, and it's like a 80s red on red grid screen, and it's in like computer font, and it's like I think we put Fudgy Interactive. I actually just cleaned my computer screen out today, and I noticed I'm like, oh, this is the graphic we used for it. It's hysterical. It's funny.
It's just a funny little flip down.
Dumb little moments. Sorry.
cannot wait to see that now. That's amazing. Okay, well, I'm glad that came out the quick kick chat because that was brilliant. We'll kind of zip through some of these a little bit quickly now, but we've got Footloose, who such a classic character, one that a lot of people have been waiting for as well. Was it important for you guys to get another kind of military guy in there, surrounded by all this weird and wacky stuff that's been happening for the past year or so?
100%. G.I. Joe's an eclectic line.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of this line is that you got a little bit for everyone. Some might not be for some people. Other pieces of it is perfect for them. I'm in it for all of it.
Same.
Just to be clear, I just love all of it.
We are action figure enthusiasts for sure. Like what you guys are seeing up here is my G.I. Joe library. My wife is a saint. Another person should be put in a stained glass window. That's the collection, right? And
she'll get a statue.
Tony,
have no fear. She'll get a statue.
Tony is tenfold of me. So
I'll buy anything.
Just appreciate.
I can see behind you, Tony.
Tony's bad.
But bad.
We love design. Like we love craziness. Like, and I think that's the beauty of Joe. Like it spans so many different genres. Yeah. And then
genre spanners.
The years. What's that?
Genre force.
What's the logo look like that?
It's all different.
It's each force.
In each individual letter is a different font, obviously, right?
Yeah,
it'll look like one of those like horrible letters you get with a ransom note.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The newspaper. Anyway, that's taken a bad turn. So Footloose, brilliant. He looks great as well. Love what you've done with Footloose. He's a close personal fave of mine because he was obviously big in the UK comics and what have you. So yeah, love
and apparently people are gonna head swap that thing for other lines.
Apparently so, because apparently he's got a bit of a likeness going on there.
We unofficially let him look like a cool laid back dude, right? And I think some of the original designs had him a little shaggier hair and stuff, but I felt like with him, he needed to be more grounded because I think we went more cyborg with the Frag Vipers.
Talking of which, the Frag Viper, my goodness.
Right. So it's like we needed to, I think, ground him a little bit. So like, I think he comes across like 70s surfer dude. You know what I mean? Like with the dirty stash and all that.
Oh yeah.
But I think he fits a really nice bill of military, and we updated him a bit by putting the netting on for his leaves and all that in his hat.
That's brilliant. That helmet looks so cool. By the way,
it came out fun. It came out good. I'm at the textures, and you see him when you see them in real life.
I have seen them in real life. They look brilliant.
The mold held up great to the sculpt.
Yeah, it is.
It looks fantastic.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. Frag Viper you mentioned. Cyborg, very cool take on that. And by the way, I remember you guys telling me that something with the Frag Viper was to come, and there was something under the helmet. It was removable, and I was like, "What?" When I saw it, I was like, "This is insane." So, like, take us through. I mean, what were the inspirations for that head sculpt design? Because it's so cool.
I was thinking that Frag Vipers are in a way recycled Cobra Troopers.
Gross.
Because they run around with probably 60 to 80 pounds worth of grenades on their back.
A couple.
And they also have to be able to throw said grenades. Each grenade probably weighs about 5 pounds or so.
Easy.
And they have to not tear a rotator cuff. And they have a giant tube that the grenades feed through. So I was like, this is not a really normal person that would be carrying this around. Also, I couldn't find any reference on them without their helmets on. They're drawn with their helmets on or shown in the cartoons with their helmets on. So I was like, I think this is an opportunity to kind of do. Warden would actually always say it. He's like, it's the horseshoe crab moment. Yeah. So they're still human. They're just enhanced.
Yeah. They look. I do like that the face sculpt and inkjet. They look just a little sad too.
Yes.
Being repurposed. I didn't want to do this anymore.
There's definitely
a
real morose. There's something not quite right there as well. Do you know what I mean? There's something like you look at it and you go, it's a human face, but something ain't there. Something ain't right. You've managed to like literally pull the soul out of it somehow.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of Matt, our sculptor, where he, we kick it off, takes a look, gets going, and like he understands facial anatomy so wonderfully that those subtle little things where like there's not a lot, there's no expression on him, but the no expression gives him the part of my soul has been cut off. Is what we were going for.
Grenaded. A grenade's been thrown at it.
Together to go back in for another round.
It's stunning. Love it. And just in general, that figure is very satisfying looking. There's loads of like gear and straps and sashes and stuff.
We wanted to make them thicker too.
Yeah.
Because the originals were like in like a, I think they were like in a torpedo body build.
Drum,
very thin.
Yeah.
They need to be thick.
Yeah.
Plus, with that, if you're reading that, not Skybound, but the image, the Larry Hama, where they mutated him, and there's that one Frag Viper that's just merged with his highlight, and he's just a monster ripping through everybody. That book is amazing.
That book is. I love that he's just like, you know what? Let's go all in.
Right.
It's crazy.
So are we likely to see some zombified Frag Vipers at some point?
I'd love to do that. I'd love
because I'm surprised.
Do them all.
I'm surprised that hasn't been more prominent since the mole rat, because like that seemed to be like a really cool kind of like way to go. And I was kind of almost expecting like a lot of like, you know, like a Viper and like a, you know, an alley Viper and stuff like that down the road.
I mean, like the zombie lever is always going to work. We've just had a conversation with somebody about the zombie lever where it's like, it's always awesome.
Yes.
It's always awesome. But you don't want to pull it all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
a full year of it.
Moving on quickly. No, that Frag Viper is amazing, guys. Absolutely phenomenal work. Again, another big favorite of mine. And the helmet, sweet. Very, very cool. Blowtorch, another superb looking figure. Level of detail on that sculpt, like in person, blown away. Like the secondary is really good. Like all of the, you know, how you kind of talked about the little kind of details, the little Centurion connectors all over.
Oh, yeah.
For such a unique character, though, are you still looking at being able to reuse his parts for, like, I don't know, like TNT, for example, or maybe like a cheeky Blowtorch repaint? Yeah.
We'd be insane not to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so for sure, you know,
because there are some unique figures that haven't seen another use so far.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't, yeah.
You know, like,
yeah, give us your
unique. What's that, Tony?
Give us your wish lists in the comments below. Always too.
Put your comments down below.
Oh God,
who do you want to see?
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Yeah, that's.
My kid watches so many of those YouTube people, and it's just like, just go ahead and smash that like button. And
I don't think I've ever said that in my life. Someone will be like, actually, you have, and here are the clips of you saying
and it's in the comments.
Yeah. Smash a like. No one, you can just use that one. But yeah, that Blowtorch is really cool. Lots of detail as well on him. That must have taken a while to get done because there's so much going on with that figure.
I would say in the paint, we actually, from a design standpoint, it was fun to kind of figure out, like I usually put the old school figure on my drawing mat, my drawing board, and I'll like have it there. I'm like looking at it, like, what are these circles? Right. What are these tentacles on him? And then I realized, like, oh, they're probably something that help his armor. It's nothing like electrical or anything like that, but I feel like there's some sort of something. Like not a solenoid, but like something that's like there that kind of like help diffuse the heat, right? It's just like some metal disc that's built in there, and it helps with the rest of the armor kind of like act as not asbestos.
Right.
Yeah. So it was just kind of playing around with that, and then I think from a deco standpoint, that was weird because like, do we make them silver? Do we make them? So we netted out at like what's 8403.
Oh,
I believe,
great color.
Yeah, great color. It's like a dark silver.
All those Pantone nerds out there. There you go.
Yeah.
A lot of them there.
Actually, that's 8404 from 1992. The 1998 version is way different. Yeah.
This is how, Tony, are you like that when it comes to colors? Look at that. There you go.
Hold on.
Within reach.
What color is my face?
That's been installed in this desk, baby.
You're like a 15, 13, 19 right now.
Look at all that in Lenny. Lenny's got more than you.
No, they're all here.
Oh, okay, good.
In the paint room, that's how we would.
New ones. Tony got mad at me. He goes, "What year?"
We need the new ones.
And I'm like, I don't know. I inherited them. And he's like, "No."
What year were they? I'm really intrigued.
My old ones?
Yeah.
I started in 2007.
Oh, I was hoping for a 19 start there. I was hoping for 1980 or 97.
Big crumbling.
Yeah.
Big Pantone wants you to buy them every year.
Big Pantone.
Big Pantone, dude. Big Pantone.
We love our partners at Pantone, though.
Guys, classified Big Pantone, new character coming very soon.
Pantone doesn't want you to know.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Back when we had a paint room of all the full painters, we were, just as ridiculous as we are now. But this would be our paint room clap.
That is brilliant. That is amazing. You can do that at the end. Yeah. when you're finished, everyone can be clapping their Pantone.
Hey. You guys ever be like,
oh yeah. Oh yeah. The smell. That's brilliant. Right, moving on. Darklon.
Sorry.
I've got to say, I was really impressed with Darklon because, there was that bit of like ever so slight disappointment when we heard it was going to be a figure without the vehicle, and then I remembered what the Evader looked like, and I was like, you guys could do a good job of that with Classified, but it wasn't one of those things where I was like super. Like, yeah, did I really need the Evader? Probably not. But the figure itself, I was kind of like really blown away with the direction you went. The build's amazing. The deco is gorgeous. Obviously his classic head, phenomenal. It's all ticking boxes. And then you throw in that like crazy sort of like metal freaking tongue out kind of skull head. I mean, amazing. What was I know we heard like on the fan stream you were talking about maybe it's like a possible troop helmet. And have you heard, or I heard a story where someone was basically going to use it as a trophy room sort of thing. Is that something you guys like to hear when like fans start getting creative with the accessories?
Head cannon. Cannon is awesome. It means because it's inspiring that somebody else is getting inspiring by something that you did, because we get inspired by art that we see and figures that we see. So it's like it creates that loop, and it creates what this culture should be about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think it's awesome to hear that. And I love that head cannon that he has a room, because he's the ruler of Darklonia. Exactly, he would have multiple helmets. Like, he's a dictator of a country.
Like, do you know, I was really hoping that you were going to put in an alternate Fabio model style head because of the guy in the Skybound. The one in the Skybound comic.
It didn't quite line up perfectly. And if we would have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think an orc skull is really awesome.
Oh, too. Yeah. Totally.
So.
And just the underneath the original mask, that original O-ring toy where it was that molded that
lizard
green
eyes he had.
The lizard eyes were like, okay, what is going on under here? And we really played into that on this one.
Because at first we were like, maybe we give him human eyes, and we're like, no, we got to give him the lizard eyes.
Yeah. So what in your minds, that sounds like, what in the hell are you thinking? No, what in your sort of narrative with the Classified series is Darklon with that in mind? Is that just some intimidation factor stuff, or do you think he's got some sort of Dr. Mindbender style experimentation?
I think he's wearing contacts. Kind of deal. I don't think those are his real eyes. I think it's like kind of Zartan, where it's like, I think Zartan's eyes look like that because he's been augmented.
Right,
that's what happened to him after he's been augmented. I think Darklon's just he's a big ass dude who's been put into power by Destro, and he's got a country to himself, and he's got all his technology. He's got the Evader when he needs it, and it's like he has the means to control others, and I think maybe the contacts are kind of just like a mind game, and he puts him in like a superhero would do.
Was there any thought? Sorry, coming back to you mentioned the Evader again. There was there any thought to do him with the Evader? Was that ever a thing that came up? Or
but as you guys know, it's no secret we're budgeting for the year.
Of course, right,
and we needed a top level villain in the wave. And
he's pretty good.
Vehicles that we're working on, and then that needed to get into the line. Cool thing about Darklon is there's multiple versions of Darklon, right?
Okay, there you go. Evader coming, guys.
Different years. He's come out with more armor. We talked about putting more armor on him, like the 4-inch line.
Of course, yes, we did, didn't we? Because there's that other kind of slightly more tactical version of him.
Where he has that bit, kind of like the I guess early 2000s modern military movie armor.
Yeah.
Talked about that, and then I was like, I think we need to get him out the way he closer to the way it looked.
I think you did the right thing.
This crazy weapon. The Gatling gun and grenade launcher.
Yeah, I love that thing.
Yes.
I love that thing. It's ridiculous. Oh, the sword as well. That I think I would buy that figure if the figure wasn't awesome anyway, which it is. I would probably buy it just for that sword because that sword is phenomenal.
Well, we want to touch to the McCullen.
Yes.
Right. So he's like he's in the bloodline. So it's like he would have some sort of like Scottish broadsword was the idea behind that.
It's just beautiful. Like the design on it's really nice. The fact you've got bear with me. You've got this in it. Hang on. You've got that.
No, you have.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There you go.
Like
the necklace. Look how shiny and rhinestoney it is as well.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
You ever put it on and say like, my dear?
I have a few times. Kate hates it. If I was to put this on though, it's actually like it's really small around my neck.
It looks tight.
Like, yeah, it is not. It's not a good look. Put it that way.
Look like it's got. I'm probably offensive when I say it's got Juggalo vibes.
It does. Yeah, it does. I'm not gonna wear that. It's just I like having Destro bits and pieces around the house.
I love that.
But no, the fact that you put that in the sword as well in the hilt, beautiful, great touch. Love that a lot. Anyway, moving on. The mass device. I want to talk about that quickly because from what Emily was saying on the fan stream, it was sort of like a quick little cute kind of one and done sort of situation with like a subline. You've got like different packaging. You've got like the mass device elements now all complete with Snake Eyes and the Polar Bear, Breaker, and the divers. Is that done as a sort of thing for sure, or are you going to revisit that? Is there a mass device sort of like, is that even a possibility? Because that's something I wanted to talk to you guys. How would you even like approach doing a mass device for classified?
That thing is absolutely massive.
Right. The building.
Right.
But right now, that's the only stuff that we've revealed. It's a mini kind of subline that celebrates those three elements, the catalyst elements.
Yes.
So right now it's just that kind of mini line that kind of lives in that space. But no plans for the giant room filling mass device, which
okay.
I wouldn't say no to be clear.
I just wanted to make that because a lot of people mention that they either think a mass device is definitely coming or it's one of those. But I look at it and I think, how would you even do it? It would be smaller than it should be for a start.
Yeah. I mean, they did it in the 4-inch line, right?
Right, but it was tiny.
It was way smaller, and it was cool. It was a cool interpretation of it. We don't have any plans to make it.
Okay.
If we did do something, would people want to see a modern version of it? Like maybe we did something. So that'd be interesting to see people's comments. Like, would you want us to see us re-envision it classified style? Like, what is the classified version of it? But at the same time, it's like we didn't want to like get that presumptuous and do that.
Right.
Too. So there's really no plans right now to do it. And to Tony's point, it's like it's a cool chase program of like get all the catalytic.
Right. It's like a little combined little fun thing, isn't it? Yeah.
At that scale that we saw in the cartoon, that's a HasLab for sure.
Oh my god!
But that's the thing in it. Like I think when you think HasLab is a giant box with a giant like diamond gun on the top of it. Is that going to be? Would you make it like a play set if that's what you would do? Because in my head, it would be cool if you could open it out into like a Cobra sort of like computer room or something. Something like that.
It's I mean, that would probably be.
Do these ideas get owned by Hasbro now? Because I've seen them in your.
That's it.
Damn it!
We can never do them now.
We own our own property now.
I just think it's like a HasLab is like the Rattler, the Dragonfly,
of course,
tanks. And it's like and the price points. Again, we always talk to you guys about like we're trying to really make stuff that's affordable for what it is, and it's like I feel like a mass device. Like if you watch the cartoon again, guys, go back.
It's huge.
See how big it is. Like it's like an ant next to a giant Tupperware. If that was from a scale standpoint, it's like it's enormous. So, not that we're trying to justify not doing it right now.
I know what you're saying, though.
But like
Yeah.
If you go back and watch that cartoon, it would be the size of a kitchen table next to an action figure.
Absolutely. Would you consider quickly, just a side note about HasLabs, and just just a quick one? Would you consider doing a play set for HasLab classified?
Yeah.
Is that something that you'd consider?
Yeah, I think so, for sure.
Because obviously there's a lot of vehicles to get through. Let's face it, there's a lot of vehicles.
Yeah, and I feel like HasLab is where that stuff's supposed to live.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what is the dream project? What is the thing that really fulfills the world building of the IP that you collect into? Right? So I love some of the Star Wars sets that they're doing are awesome.
Oh, right? God, yeah. So,
yeah. It would be cool
okay.
to do. Yeah.
In terms of Target here, because obviously they had some mass device themes. They previously had Tiger Force before that. Are we going to see Tiger Force and Python Patrol return at some point? Can we see them in the main line? Is that something you guys are gonna? Are you shutting the door on it? Is what I'm asking.
No, I don't think that the doors. I would say the doors never shut. It's always left a little bit of ajar, and then we'll see when it's time to go back to it. Essentially,
let the tiger back in. Let the python come back in the door. Right. Okay, I just wanted
tigers don't really roar, do they? I think they like hiss.
I don't think
tigers roar. I think that's like a big thing.
It's just a lion thing, is it?
It's a silent killer.
They're lion.
Dark.
They're lion. They don't roar. They're
How dare you do that? They are lions.
Sorry, terrible puns, whatever. That's what you come on the show for, terrible puns.
Yeah.
That's why we're back.
Okay. Could we the other thing I wanted to mention in relation to that, could we then see Tiger Force, Python sub teams basically being done in the main line in the same way that you've done Mad Marauders, kind of like you creep them into kind of main line? Is it possible we could see sub teams in that?
Potentially. I would say potentially for sure.
Okay, cool. Moving on then. Law and Order, amazing, really cool. I love the removable radio. I can't tell you how much joy I get from that simple thing of just seeing that just being like boink, and then on like a little cord. That is so cool. I'm very easily pleased, as you can tell. Yeah, like it's. I feel like it's important to get those sort of details in, but that is a cost issue, isn't it? Like a lot of the time, you can't always do very intricate secondaries, can you?
It depends, right? Like, there was an opportunity where that was going to have to be a separate piece no matter what. So it was like, just make it come off. It'd be cool.
Brilliant.
So it's like,
yeah.
And I think off the jump, I was like, I want that to come off. I've never seen a figure with that. So it was kind of like one of those deals too, where it's like, we haven't seen a figure with a radio that comes off their vest.
Because you're just expecting it sometimes. You just be like, but then always molded on or whatever. But no, I just thought that was really, really awesome. Yeah. I love that.
And it's
a lovely touch.
His his dog sign hands, whatever.
Yeah.
The one that's like, it fits it perfectly.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's like a happy accident. Yeah.
Oh, I love those. Yeah. When you realize, we didn't do a hand that fits the
and then
or the C grip is like the microphone's like that big and the C grip's like
it worked out perfect. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. We only seem to be missing Big Lob now, I think, for the raw hides. Any chance he is on the table?
I love Big Lob.
There you go then. Confirmed. That'll be out tomorrow, guys. Render. Can you get the render up on Instagram for us, Tony? Cheers.
Yeah, just gotta work on it.
Brilliant. I'll email.
We just gotta develop it, sculpt it, and
don't even worry the rest of the team. Just take my word for it. It's cool. Right, we're here. We're at the snake armor, which is where we needed to be about 10 hours ago. That might be the most mental thing I've ever seen in my life, as we've already talked about. Did you know from the start it was going to go big with this one? Was it one of those things where you just knew, we've got to go big with this?
No, I always knew that we weren't going to get the. I brought him out earlier.
There he is.
My little castanet here, my 40-year-old castanet. I always knew that his legs weren't going to work this way as one works. Because
as it collapses on the
floor.
If
you guys remember. Actually, probably showing you the box would be easier than me holding this thing up. But you guys remember Snailians?
Yeah, of course.
It's a Snailian.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
it's a Snailian armor. It's a Snailian armor though with this kind of like rubber.
Right.
It's actually an amazing shape. I'm surprised it's not cracking. But it's a Snailian armor with this like detail in there, and then these are coffins too. So it's a coffin for the torso. Here. It's a coffin for the torso, and it's a coffin for the legs, and then the arms are kind of just like in there.
Yeah.
And the arms are kind of like what a 6-inch figure would be like too. It's like you wouldn't be able to articulate the legs, you wouldn't be able to articulate the arms. It would be cool to try to figure out how to make it look like the action figure inside is actuating it,
right?
But like that was going to be problematic. So ultimately, in the beginning sketches, I kind of had to make the executive decision where it's like, okay, he's sitting in a chair in there, he's operating the arms and legs via the control panel that happens to be on my desk too. There's
cool,
just parts and pieces here.
Nice.
But yeah, so it's kind of like it was form meets function sort of deal, and that's where we kind of netted out. But it got bigger and bigger and bigger because I originally had kit bashed one together out of old Transformer parts, and I put Falcon in there with a trouble bubble as the seat to try to get it all to fit together.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. And I thought it was like, oh, okay, this is a good size. But then when we started like engineering it for real,
right,
it was like, oh well, the thickness here has to get thicker, this has to get thinner, this has to get bigger, this has to get taller. And
you've effectively made Titans Metroplex and then put a figure in it, haven't you? That's what you've done.
Right.
He's not the size of Metroplex.
No, Metroplex is a big boy. Yeah.
2 feet tall, right?
It's a child, basically.
But this guy's about 11 and change, maybe close to 12.
It looked pretty big when I was there.
It's big.
Hang on. It looked about that. It looked about that big is all I'll say.
Yeah,
but
so
yeah.
It was a cool, like, you're designing. See where it nets out, man. See what we get.
That's brilliant.
There's those parts where, like I said earlier, where it's like you get a control drawing, but then you have to kind of go off script a little bit.
Did you know early on that you weren't going to have a figure with it? Did you think we can't do a figure with this?
Originally wanted to put a figure with it.
Yeah.
We did. We wanted to do like this kind of like still suit wearing dude. But then we thought about it, and
was any development done on that, like a visual concept sort of drawing?
No.
Okay.
Actually, no. I would have.
Look at me trying to dig for all of the fun, unseen, unreleased, cancelled parts.
All the goodies.
Oh,
no,
such a nerd.
It was my project manager, Matt, who should be in a stained glass window, as I mentioned earlier.
Yes, this is becoming a full-on church now. Yeah, you just built a church with
the Church of Lenny.
Yeah. Church of
Lenny Day Saints. Sorry, everyone.
He had me start the mech suit way earlier than the figure because
I think I killed Chris.
A nightmare.
Oh my god!
And I was like,
that needs a logo.
Like, he said it's gonna be a nightmare, so he's like, you got to start that way early, and he was very right. And
how long has this been in development then?
It's typical timing, but like it's typical. No, it's not. It's about 5 minutes earlier than what we usually start.
Right.
Because he was afraid because it's not a car.
No,
it's a mech suit. We haven't done one in 1/12 scale yet.
It's a bit ground up as well, isn't it? Because you're talking about articulation points, you're talking about weight distribution, you're talking about all sorts.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. I mean, for my work on Transformers, I worked on Unicron. I've worked on having a brain fart, guys. But I've worked on larger scale combiners, and you have to do a new joint. The joint thickness is thicker. The tolerance is different. Like it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
To actually like upscale a figure from is it gonna work?
Right.
Is it not gonna just get all droopy? So it was a lot back and forth. So he was right to kind of start us earlier, and then once we started kicking off the sculpt on that, which was way before the figure was due, it just started getting bigger.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is going to be an expensive product offering. So then we made the decision to be like, well, the old school one didn't come with a figure. If you have troops, you can put anybody in it, but not Road Pig.
Of course.
Or Serpentor.
Or Nemesis Immortal with his wings.
His wings is coming out of it. But you can put predominantly a good amount of line in it. And it kind of by itself, it stands alone as a figure. So that's where we're like, oh, we'll just make it as a figure robot, essentially.
Right.
Because it would have brought the price point up too high.
Yeah.
I think watching once we had released images and watching the speculation on price and the ranges people were going, and for be able to release it at the price that it was at, I think people were really happy.
I was amazed, genuinely, but also pleasantly, because it meant that I could actually afford one.
Well, that's the idea, right? We want people to be able to get this stuff. I want to be able to get this stuff. So
like, I don't get paid enough. Yeah,
it's an expensive hobby. You know, like, how do you manage that?
And I'd say it's designed in a way once you close those hatch doors, not having a figure behind that like lens, you're not really gonna see that there isn't a guy back there. You can,
right.
If you really peer in, you could. So they can stand on their own. But the amazing shots that Matt had on the pulse, right, where they're climbing into the suit,
so
all those Dio shots, and you're gonna still get that as well when you bring in your other figures in that scene.
Totally.
But as a standalone, like it looks like it's its own thing. Obviously, you want an operator in there, but
I've got like
great.
12 extra infantry that I haven't used yet, like back in the Cobra Trooper infantry days. One of them is going to be riding that bad boy. Anyway,
extra toy storage. You can just
I can finally put one of them of these 12.
I want to see how people kit bash a pilot. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I was kind of semi hoping that, I mean, this is probably going to be reutilized again, right? The tooling. There's got to be a repaint down the road.
There's some amazing. I love the different colored.
The black and blue one are cool. We actually talked about that because when you're painting some like the Trouble Bubble too, it's that cool gray too.
Yes.
Or 424 or 423.
Oh, for goodness sake, get the Pantone book out again.
The color of my beard. I was like, man, this thing looks like a prototype. And that's when we were like, let's wipe it. So we wiped the whole thing.
It looks great.
But we did talk about like maybe the black one should come out. Maybe we should do the black one or the blue one. But then again, it's like that, like, okay,
red.
Did people remember it this way from the cartoon and from the toy? I think the black and blue were more obscure.
Yeah, because it was it kind of came out in the action figure, didn't it? Like kind of back in the day.
Yep. So I do like those. I will say I like those colorways, but I like the black one the most.
I'm going to say it again, just so you hear it. Red. Because Crimson Strike Team could probably do with some extra bits and bobs, couldn't they? And
I know.
All of the UK fans could be like, oh, maybe throwing a different tampo sheet in there. You know what I'm saying? Just like throw a little cheeky extra customizable tampo. Anyway,
it's one of those. Let us know in the comments.
Oh my god!
Smash a like. Let us know in the comments.
Oh my god!
If we were ever to do it again, what color would everybody want?
It just seems to be red here, Lenny. I'm just seeing just red.
Looking at the comments now.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if you were doing this live by accident?
I feel like there's a bias here.
There is a little bit. One last thing on the snake armor I want to touch on, which was quite a funny conversation I had on the stream following Toy Fair. A few of the viewers and myself were talking about the fact that the claw should attach to the back of the snake armor because we thought it would be like really cool to see like both of those combined. And I was almost going to shout you out for not allowing that to happen until I saw the fact that a jetpack is already built onto the bloody thing anyway, which is incredible. Had that thought crossed your mind though at any time, or were you adamant it needed its own sort of like inbuilt jetpack thing?
I felt like that thing's not going to jump just on pistons alone,
right?
So it needed some sort of thing that could help it jump. So it has a jetpack in the mid, like so. The way the back is designed on the spine is a tighter jetpack on either side of those a fuel. tank.
It's amazing.
To keep them away from the flames of the jetpack.
Yeah.
So it needed something to.
Yeah, it's got that Hulkbuster vibe, hasn't it? Like kind of, you know, when he's kind of punching him with the little like extra jets of, you know, kind of thing. Yeah, it's just it's so good.
And even Lenny kind of revealed that those forklift handles or whatever those are. That's kind of that mode of like long distance transportation or
getting dropped out of a Mamba or something like that. Like,
hell yeah,
some cables.
Hell yeah. A few people were saying it's something the Rattler could help with because that is a V-stall, so it could.
Yeah.
That's
There you go.
We're gonna play with that.
Doing all your work for you here, guys. Just kidding. Let's move on quickly to name only reveals. I'll bust through these real fast. What can you tell us about Battle Armor Cobra Commander?
He's silver.
Check.
Yeah, we can let you guys know that it is they are mainline.
Yes.
Items. So we do have that.
That's Battle Armor Cobra Commander, Monkey Wrench, same situation.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Major Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then the Slaughter Mercer 2-pack, which Emily hilariously revealed on the fan stream. And also the Renegades in the future as well, which she said on the live stream, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
So that's is there anything you can tell us about any of these other than what you just said?
Yeah, we've been told we can tell you the version of Mercer you're getting, in which we should tell you it's not the skybound size of a refrigerator man.
They went to town on him on that.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Like the old school movie. So he's not this gargantuan. He is a normal sized,
perfect,
jacked. He gets his curls in.
Okay.
Operative. Because I remember when the Skybound came out, because we're working on this stuff.
Of course, yeah.
I'm like, we didn't make him gigantic, and if you don't know old school Joe, you're not going to know that he's not gigantic.
Yeah.
I kind of had like a moment, and then I realized, like, oh, we can tell people that he is the older version that is a normal sized human.
Sweet. Yeah, cool. That's great. Anything about? I know Major Blood. You mentioned some sort of zhuzhing being done on that particular figure in the fan stream.
Yeah, it's not an overhaul of any sort, but we went in on some of the paint.
Okay. Okay, cool. And Monkey Wrench, we've sort of seen a sort of glimpse at. Is there anything else to kind of? Is there anything else that's going to be? I don't know how to put it, but is it going to be any different than what we've seen on the back of the collar? Okay.
There's a red and blue detail on him that I love, and it like makes him look bonkers.
Sweet.
He's optional detail too.
Yeah, I think the colors that we dialed in on him look super cool, which we'll obviously talk about at a later date. But he just that little piece next to Ripper and Buzzer, and it's gonna look amazing. It's gonna complete.
Does he come with his trident weird weapon thing? Okay, you can't talk about that. That's fine. I was just seeing how far I could push it.
Yeah.
Battle Armor Cobra Commander. Is that a removable scenario? Has he got any? No. Is that just a?
No, he's I would say he's a basic figure.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to. Yeah, cool, awesome, brilliant. Render reveals. These were freaking fun as well. So Snake Eyes version 4, very very cool. Love the kind of vibe you're going in with that figure. Not as many accessories as I was expecting. Not to kind of throw a negative at you there, guys, but is that really just a case of like you're kind of like you're juggling of the kind of budget around some of the releases?
Yeah, it's like costs studies and structures and all that, which change according to figure and all that sort of thing. He comes with cord. He will have some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay, that's good.
Because I mean, I think there's a misconception with that version that he's rock climber from the game.
Or paintballer. I think most people think he's a paintballer. I think.
Or a paintballer. It's like I think it's weird. That design is so all over the place.
Yeah,
which I love. That was my Snake Eyes kid. That I think if you notice on him, he has like ninja plating and stuff on him on the original toy. Yeah. I just had him on my desk, and I was going to do like a whole little bit where I was going to talk about it, but essentially we went with the more ninja aspect of it.
Right.
But we wanted to nod to the grappling hook. I mean, missile launcher backpack. So we gave him the grappling hook with the string on it. So he does have that rock climber aspect, but he's more of a ninja than he is of a rock climber.
Yeah, sure. No, that's cool.
I just don't have a digital file for sourced
cord
spring. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just lazy that day.
Just really lazy. Do I interrupt Sculpting's time to have him sculpt me what would look like a sourced cord, or do we move on to the next one?
It's literally a cylinder they just kind of pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. You could have just scribbled it on there, couldn't you? Just like really poorly.
Yeah, MS Paint.
Just that would be so good. Mario Paint, even worse.
There you go.
Mario Paint. That game.
MMS with Colonel Hawk. That's an amazing out of the blue. Wasn't expecting that one, although kind of expecting the reuse of the MMS, but not expecting it at that point. That was just like what? Obviously, original 13. You guys are trying very quickly to complete by the looks of things. Is that something that's on your mind, trying to get the OG-13 crew sort of completed up?
Yeah, I think so. There's been demand, right?
Yeah,
we're listening.
He just looks so cool. And again, I kind of say it all the time, but whenever you get that like OD Green and like the more military based guy, it always, even though we just talked about it expands genres, it always like that's a GI Joe.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but it always kind of comes back to the roots of the line, which obviously those OG guys are, and that kind of like flat top with the fade and to the
Jarhead is incredible.
It's so cool.
Like, it's so flat.
Amazing.
That one was funny too because like Grunt I think was a good example of it, where like there's people like, oh, you're doing the green shirts, but there's so many other crazy characters in the line, and then when we get samples and people come by when we're doing our sample review, and people are like, whoa, this is fun. And it's like, that's G.I. Joe, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I was blown away by Grunt, by the way. I thought Grunt was one. He was a proper under the radar sort of banger of a figure, Grunt.
Yeah,
because some of the updates you gave him, which are continuing through the line now with the fudgy drop down.
Instead of seeing where his teammates are, he's playing Fudgy Interactive.
He's playing Fudgy Interactive, amazing. We also got the retro green shirt, which goes along quite nicely with that sort of vibe, doesn't it? Kind of like, it's not the same, but it's definitely something that fits in with that particular era of Joe.
Yeah, definitely kind of animation based, but
and with the bat in that sense as well, right? That's a Sunbow
mm-hmm.
sort of homage, isn't it?
Yeah, and retro card is a little bit of a catch-all. It's not 100% O-ring. It's not 100%. It's a classic vibe, I guess.
Right.
To use that, but
it's a celebration of the vintage era.
Yeah,
it's like, and the thing that should have been, you know what I mean? Like, it's like that should have been in the line. Why were there no green shirts in the original 1980?
You're right.
1982 to 86 line. Why were there no green shirts?
Yeah, no, totally.
Bridge a gap, essentially.
Right, we have come to the end of all of the talking about all the cool stuff, but I do have a few questions from some viewers, so we're going to rinse through these like rapid pace. Diana asks, is there a possibility of lady green shirts?
Sure.
Yes.
There you go.
Possibility, for sure.
Stanley asks,
great idea.
Do you have plans, very clear, for higher made-to-order items similar to what the Marvel team has done recently with Legends?
We're looking into it.
Yeah, nothing to announce. But certainly, whenever we're looking at the line as a whole and looking at what other teams are doing, and the company owns a lot of that action brand space, so just looking into things that are successful for other brands.
I suppose if it makes sense, right?
And vice versa, right? Too. Yeah. It's if it works for us, you might see it pop up in other brands by Hasbro. So
awesome. Okay, that's good. Luke asks, will you be aiming to fix the issue of figures that can't look up or down going forward? He says the ones that have that, I suppose, that issue with the articulation.
We call it prone. They're not feeling prone.
Yeah.
Yes. So we are actively studying that.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Jay asks, what goes into deciding what weapons come with a figure?
Depends. I feel how iconic it is to the character. I would say that's the number one. Number two is how we are modernizing the character.
Yeah.
Number two. And then number three is cost.
There you go. That's what I would have said, actually. Multiple people have asked again, but because I asked you on this the last time about a possible Vamp reissue. Is that something that is on the cards, or is it sort of, I don't know if you can really talk to that?
We saw I can generic answer it. It's we saw the demand. We know that it sold out very quick, and there's still people that want it. So looking again, we when we're looking at what to make next and what we made and what people would really like reissued or revamped, right? I don't know.
Fantastic!
Wow!
But you're looking at those things for sure. That those small little data points of people constantly asking for it.
Just keep.
Oh, you mean the constant DMs of asking for it? Yes.
Yeah, but that's just me, though, isn't it? That's just me.
Yeah, it's you.
Lenny, can you?
We cannot get you items. Sorry.
Just speak to Emily and stop
Not you,
bothering
I'm saying
us.
rhetorically.
No, I get it.
For toys.
Ricky asks, as of now, there are only 2 female figures announced for 2025. Announced being the important word there. A nameless trooper, claw pilot, and a variant cover girl. Is this a trend we can expect the line to have fewer female figures going forward?
No. I think it's just like
there's like an ebb and the flow going on here. Do you think?
There's no flow, I would say. I think it's just kind of like what tools are available, what budget is available, how can you do the character justice? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it's like,
absolutely.
I don't want to do a character and not have enough money to make the character properly.
Right.
You know?
Okay, cool. That's good.
No shade to our female counterparts on the Joe side, or
100. Yeah.
And there's so many really good ones.
Yes,
so many really good ones to do.
There's a lot of characters I think that never made it into the older lines that I'd love to make it into this line.
Yes, first ever appearance sort of vibes.
Yes, Mm-hmm. Like Cover Girl, like blonde Cover Girl. She never made it into the old school toy line, so it's like we need to get her in retro card back.
Yeah. Love that. Eben asks, what are your favorite sub teams?
For me, it was Python Patrol. That was a lot when I was growing up. Some of those versions are the only versions of that character I had.
Nice.
Even though it was a redeco, as a kid, sometimes I only knew it as that. So that was nice to get to that. Copperhead being one of them. I never had the water moccasin, but I had that awesome. I love that look for him because again, that was
bright yellow.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I had a lot of Python Patrol for some reason, but loved every one of them.
Awesome. Lenny?
Eco Warriors.
Oh my God, Eco Warriors is amazing.
Look at you.
I want to change my
Captain Planet over there. Captain Planet over there, giving it the big one. No, that's awesome.
I mean, we were the demo. They were, let me tell you something. The original G.I. Joe marketing and design team were absolute geniuses.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolute geniuses. Because they invented the whole scale.
Yep.
They innovated on it on top of it. And then they were smart enough to go, okay, what's going on in pop culture? Integrate it into the toy line. And it was like, there would not be the toy culture there is today without those people.
Absolutely.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely
incredible. Sorry, that's my little
that was nice.
Putting them on a pedestal. They need to be on a pedestal. It is because
add them to the church. Add them to the Lenny Day Saints. The Lenny Day Saints. Panny asks, are gem classified figures a possibility or just a fun nod on the packaging?
It's a nod on the packaging. Okay. I would love to make a gem figure. That would be so cool.
So good. Oh,
I would love to do that. I can't say that we would ever do that because it's a completely different team.
Of course.
Different people in the corporation from a stakeholder standpoint. But what an opportunity that would be to do.
I'd love it. I'd love that so much. Joey asks, based on how the Saw Viper and Frag Viper each wound up with removable helmets and based on how their unmasked heads look, what do both Lenny and Tony imagine an unmasked range Viper head would look like?
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that. I kind of like the idea of it echoing what it looks like on the outside.
Just having like a bit of brain sticking out. Yeah.
Just like gaunted out. Like
I could see one of those like Mindbender clear domes, like brain transplant underneath there, or it could be.
That's awesome.
It could get
that's
gross.
A good shout. That is a good shout.
No eyelids.
Yeah.
Just flayed man.
Stream like that.
Yeah.
We've somehow got to find a graphic that makes
something
I
haunting.
Envision them differently than you, Tony.
Sure, yeah, let's hear it.
I see them more. So they're sent out into the field, and all they eat is snakes and stuff. You remember the old school file card? They're rugged dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I see them as just being characters from from Predator.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And all that. They're each just this super crazy, badass operative that can live out in the field for months at a time and find a way to not die. And I see them as being rugged as hell looking.
I like it.
Mustache.
Yeah. With mustache.
With a mustache.
Yeah.
Mustache on his skull.
The whole time of the movie.
The flayed man with a mustache.
Yeah, with a mustache.
Amazing.
No, keep the mustache.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, it's just the mustache. There's no face.
That's
That's
for
what
the
a
mustache.
range viper
It's
looks
actually
like.
a clear head with a decoed mustache on it.
A stash viper. Mike would like you to talk about the success of the Classified series in its 5th anniversary, and where do you see the line in the next 5 years?
I never want to jinx it because it's going pretty good. You know, I want
Classified jinx coming, you said.
Another one.
What?
I just like that she's already in the line.
It's already in the line.
Confirmed
We
it.
confirmed everything.
That
is literally confirmed.
Your
because
teasing usually is when they're not in the line yet. Anyways,
5 years.
I think celebrating more aspects of the G.I. Joe brand and then introducing some new characters I would want to do for sure. I think we need some freshness from a roster standpoint, but there's also characters that, like, I love Eco Warriors. Like, I want to do Cesspool so bad. I want to make Cesspool really badly.
Love him.
It's like it's
That's
getting into it's just expanding, all right? Like, we're super inspired by our teammates on Marvel Legends and Black Series and how they expand their lines, and we just kind of see it expanding and then adding new, which is a really cool thing about Joe. We have the opportunity to make new characters, so we're pretty pumped about that. So getting to go that direction, I think for me, would be kind of the dream.
Are you looking at, like, because obviously you've got like Wolf Spider, for example, you've got other kind of troops and stuff that you've done that are kind of new to the line. Are you excited to kind of get your teeth into like an actual, like a face character, like something completely fresh and new that
100%.
has never been seen before? Yeah,
100%.
Maybe with a comic that comes like a little little comic that comes along with it. That'd be pretty cool.
Who knows what
it?
B-Mac can do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we'll see.
Yeah, let's get him on that.
Yeah.
Tobias wants to know, this is a funny question, but also a bit rude. Just kidding, Tobias. Tobias wants to know what your aversion to water vehicles is, douchebags. I'm just kidding. I added the douchebags bit. And why we haven't seen any yet.
Tobias.
I'm only joking, Tobias. There was no douchebags in there. It was a much worse word. I couldn't repeat. I'm just kidding again. But why haven't we seen any water vehicles, guys? What's going on?
Just haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
You know? Right. I mean, a moccasin would be incredible.
Oh.
You know, a night landing? Like a little night landing?
That would work.
It'd be sick.
Throw that
There's
one
a lot of cool water
Devilfish.
I mean,
yeah. Piranha.
When I was a kid, I TMI, I used to play with my G.I. Joes in the tub with my Jurassic Park toys.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know.
That sounds amazing.
Dude, it was cool. It was like the dinosaurs. They're fighting the dinosaurs.
Do you still do that? Do you still get in the bathtub with
you know, my family has a problem with it. They're like, why do you keep doing this, Dad? You're a 41-year-old man. This is a problem.
Oh, that's amazing.
I did have a lot of fun with and I'm blanking on the name. Blue kind of submarine.
With the
Alka-Seltzer?
Yeah, and it would sink. Do you remember?
Barracuda.
Deep Six. Oh, the Barracuda, right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I played with that all the time when I was a kid. So no aversion to seafaring vehicles. The whale be
confirmed, guys. Confirmed. It's coming.
It's another confirmation.
Who would the whale be? Whale would be like.
Would love it.
Would that be on the cards for a HasLab, or is that too big?
I don't know. I mean, look at the sail barge.
Yeah,
that's all you needed to say. That's
you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, brilliant. And finally, just to bring it to a close, our patrons on Patreon would like to know how you are going to approach the Energon universe in Classified and what sort of challenges that you face with that particular situation.
I think the challenge is not to muddy the water.
Okay.
Right? Like, where do you introduce it? Like, how do you introduce it, and who do you introduce it with? We are married to them a little bit too. Like, I mean, like Ripper and Rock and Roll, like they are using Classified designs.
Of course, yeah.
And they're of course they're using it for their storytelling, which we want. So I think it's just a matter of timing. How don't you muddy the waters? How do you approach the characters, and how are they different enough from Classified where they warrant a figure? right? You don't want to do another classified version
of course,
rock
yeah,
and
yeah.
roll. I mean, he sometimes has the backwards hat, which is awesome. But it's that sort of thing, right? It's kind of it looked like Marvel Legends does a really good job of integrating multiple versions of a character and then making sure they pick the right version so that you're not getting the same again. I think we want to try to do that too, right? Like as much variation as possible.
Yeah, awesome. Well, guys, wow, that brings us to a close. It's been an amazing. That was a long time. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. They're going to be in for a right treat. The old viewers. I managed to get everyone's questions in. That's nuts. Thank you so much for spending time with me, guys. I always appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having us.
Well, every time, you know that. Get your Pantone books ready. We'll be. We'd love to chat to you guys again, probably around Yojo June-ish, around that time period. I would imagine some stuff will be kicking off around then.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll talk to you whenever. You want to talk tomorrow?
All right, tomorrow it is. We'll do it then.
Tomorrow, confirmed.
Whatever. Classified tomorrow. Confirmed. We'll be talking, I guess, whenever the next thing happens then in that case. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. That's it for this installment of the Full Force Redacted. Thank you to my wonderful guests, Lenny Panzica and Tony Colella. See you next time. And as always, after 3, 1, 2, 3.
Full Force!
I can't believe you clapped as well. That's brilliant.
Access granted.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.
Access granted.